I'm James Mandelaire, the writer of these Art of Spirit tales. And I just thought that I ought to at least offer a little explanation for these very personal autobiographical tales. I guess this is kind of an apology, because I know it may seem very egotistical, even conceited, that I would say all these things about myself in this autobiography, but the inspiration for it was just to try to highlight through these stories all the magical things that have happened to me in my life, to leave to you as a legacy these tales of what the Spirit has shown me in my life. Whether it be the hill out behind my old childhood home, I looked out and saw the glory of heaven in the pastures and fields of, my hometown. Or, the incredible synchronicities that have led me to believe that everyone is beloved in the universe by consciousness. Consciousness is the key to understanding my worldview, and I'm trying to explain that. The kernel of it, the very seed of this life that has become such a mystical life of joys and sorrows, unfathomable. Is staggering to me to contemplate it all. And a writer, I think it's got to be for any artist, you wish that your vision could already be there, like the first parts of Art of Spirit's done, John Lennon Dream. Now I'm working on the second part, Spirit Quest, and then there's a third part, The Ghost Man. I've already got it in my head. It's all up there. Like Mozart says in Amadeus, it's scribbling and bibbling. I got to type it up. And I just thought you might be interested in the, how the process of how I do this. A lot of these tales have been, like I said, conceived of for years. The tales from my childhood in part one, John Lennon Dream, have been tales that I wrote in my first book that I wrote in 1980 from my journal entries from before that, from the decade before that. It's been a long, long life, and here I am. I'm offering my offerings to you, and almost 900 people now have read my stuff and looked at my drawings and stuff. This stuff's been laying around for 30, 40 years. And, it's February of 2013, and I've published, I think, 20 titles now. I just recently published on my Kindle bookshelf. We have the John Lennon Dream, and then 2 volumes of Celestion Tarot, which is a tarot deck that I made based on the book, the world described in my book, The Silent One. I just gave you my graphic novel that I've been working on for 2 years. This is a lot of work. People don't realize to do all this. You saw my music videos. This is a lot of work. And, I hate to admit this to you folks, but, not everybody who's an artist has a trust fund that they can live off. I've been living off the Great Spirit, month to month here. So here I am. I'm at another one of those junctures where it's either I get saved or I am homeless again, living in a tent in the woods. And, I got 1 more month's rent in the bank, and that's it, man. I'm done. I've made these offerings, and I'm hoping for other opportunities to come my way. But it gets hard, because every time you do one of these things, you pull off one of these books or a new song or a video or this video or anything, it adds to the pile, a crushing pile of this unknown and unappreciated work. That's why I'm so grateful that the internet has allowed me to at least offer this work. Unfortunately, I can't make a living off it. I can't get people to notice it that much, But it's there, and I keep trying to tell people it's there, and, my whole life is there for you. Now I hope to live long enough and to have a roof over my head long enough to be able to keep my internet connection going, keep on pumping out this stuff. I have, many stories still yet to tell of how the Spirit is amazing and how it always comes through in the strangest ways. I can't wait to get to these stories. I'm motivated to do it, but it's hard. It's like, oh yeah, another unknown miracle, another orphaned child. I put it out into the world, like my paintings in the Ninth Infinity. And it's nice to see the numbers go up. That's great. But I'm still waiting for that great call. Somebody that might want to help me to continue this great work without having to worry about how am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to buy enough food? Am I going to lose my place again? Am I going to end up at the mercy of someone who doesn't really care? There's a lot of people that could have helped me in my life, but they don't. Why don't they? They have their own lives. And I think part of it is the unseen, the unnoticed, the invisible oppression of the human race that's going on. What do I mean by that? Well, I guess I mean that there's been a society designed by the obsolete consumer emperors, the consumer emperors, let's face it. They've designed a self-sufficient, singular lifestyle. There's no community, no village, town, state, country, really. We're all self-sufficient consumers who go to the mall to get everything we want, brand new. We don't borrow anything from our family. I really think that we've been designed, the technology too is increasingly designed us to be isolated and alienated singular entities in this world. The idea that we could hook up with people and do great things is anathema to the power elite and what they need to do to survive. I think this is anti-thema means against God, against synchronicity, against the universe. And we're paying the price for that. My work seeks to change our basic view of our human existence here. And to really kind of break the chains of the past and to try to redress the sins of the past by the best way to gain forgiveness is don't do the sins anymore. Stop sinning. And, my art of spirit tales might seem to folks that I'm saying I'm some kind of saint, but I'm not. I'm not a saint. I've done a lot of things. I've had lots of sins in my past. Not so much anymore, but I've tried to gain forgiveness for my youthful folly. And these stories are really the stories that try to elucidate the fact that I've been guided by the Spirit all my life because I am useful to the universe. Because the art of spirit pours out of me in songs and art and writing, in essays and diary entries and in philosophical entries. If you were here, you'd see all my paintings and drawings and pieces of paper written on in longhand with a pen, with all kinds of lists and song lists, and it takes a lot of work. What I'm going to do, I think I'm going to take a break from the Ninth Infinity before I go on to the next book. It's always that. It's always, come on, get to work on that. I got to do some more paintings. I got to get that next story told. I got another goddess to explain, and I'm really glad about Sho, and that I've got that she's the goddess of sacred sensuality and the mistress of dreams, and I have her tale told on the Ninth Infinity, which I think is great. But now I have to go on to the next goddess, which is Ayla, and then the third book will be Ibu, and then the epilogue is about Gorliss. So all the goddesses get their book. I got to do that. I got to get on to that. But first, I have to pay the rent. I have to get some gigs. I have to sell some books. I have to get something going. It's so hard because I'm tired. 55 years old, 40 years trying to make this pay, and it hasn't paid. Being a writer is not an easy thing, and it's people think that being an artist is some kind of conceited trip where you just sit around and do what you love all day, but it's a lot of work. I type up the Art of Spirit Tales on my old Dell computer. I don't have a word processor on my new computer, so I do my word processing on my old computer, and then I type the articles into the Hub Pages program, and I'm rewriting the drafts each time, and so I have to go back to my original draft and retype that. Once I retype it in, because I'm changing it, I'm revising it, I'm fixing it up a little bit. I like to do my first draft as a lot of run-on sentences and just kind of get my ideas out there, and then I try to do the draft where I go through and hopefully make the sentences make sense and take out a few semicolons and put a period in, take an and or a but out here and there, because I have a tendency to go on, as you can tell, and it's great, and then I throw in the illustrations, and then I put it up, and you guys, some of you read it, and that's just great, and I want to thank you very much for that. But I do pray to the Great Spirit that I get the call, and I can continue to offer these things to you. And like I said, the road is long, and a lot of work to do. 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. But I admit that I'd love to promote my work more, and inspire people to understand something that I always felt about the people I looked up to: Bob Dylan, John Lennon, George Harrison, Paul McCartney, James Taylor, and all Jackson Brown, all those singers and the great writers, Dickens and Mark Twain, and the philosophers, Ram Dass and Alan Watts and Carlos Castaneda, and J.R.R. Tolkien, and all these people that I looked up to. I try to keep in mind that the myth is not the person, and that a person has a right to be a myth if they're an artist, and they create these novels and songs and mythic entities that express humanity. That is not necessarily what the person is personally, even if, like John Lennon and like myself, you use your very personal life as a way to express to people the universal shared experience of life. And in my case, I'm trying to elucidate, expand, and evolve our spiritual concepts and mythic concepts through writing and art and music and poetry and mysticism, and that's what the Art of Spirit is all about. So I thought I'd share that with you, and to remind you, many of you writers and artists and philosophers in your own right, I know, but just to remind you that I know how hard it is, and be strong and have courage. And I hope that my articles and my illustrated books and my poems and such, and my songs inspire you, and show you the Holy Spirit of the soul of the universe, revealed in symbolic coincidences, dreams, and other miracles, is there for you every step of the way to the end of time. And I just want to say a big thank you for everybody that's read my articles, and I hope that you will go on to read my novels, and make a comment, or send me a letter even, or give me a call if you want. You can find that information, I'm sure, and I welcome that. So this is just a little slice of life here for you, here at the darkest hour of the human race, which I do believe it is, which is great because we're headed back toward the light. And in closing, I just want to say that I think that the solstice in December 21st, 2012, was the darkest hour for humanity in the age of Kali, in the Kali Yuga, the darkest hour, and we're headed back toward the light. I don't think anything could symbolize that more than the shootings of little children, the massacre of the innocents that occurred around that time. I think that's the darkest hour, and I think that we're headed back to a glorious spring in the universe. Nice things are going to start happening for all us hard working and battle scarred warriors of the spirit who've endured this long uncivil war that is soon to come to an end, because a bigger and brighter and better day is about to dawn as we make our way back. We've passed that elliptic of the galaxy. We're on our way back to the ages of blessedness and away from this age of ignorance. We've reached our darkest hour and we're heading back. And I hope my art of spirit tales and my music and my art and my novels and poems can help us see that we are making that journey back toward the light. So I wish you peace of mind and love of life and the blessings of the one light within us and above us and all around us. Thank you.